7.5 và 8.0 IELTS giải đề thi thật tháng 7 chủ đề Children. Xem hết video để ôn tập cùng chúng mình nhé.
Part 2. Describe an occasion when you spend time with a child.
As a matter of fact, I am a person who adores spending time with kids. This is also a reason why I became a kindergarten teacher. So I remember vividly an occasion that I had to babysit my niece when her parents went on a business trip, which left unforgettable impressions on me. If I remember correctly, it was on Saturday when I was still in bed, and I received a call from my sister-in-law to look after her 3-year-old daughter. At first, I felt reluctant because I didn't want to waste my day off running errands for a kid. But she said that there was nobody else she could entrust their child to, so I couldn't turn her down. At first, everything was under my control as I managed to keep my niece occupied for a while. We played hide and seek, we built towers out of blocks, and we even read fairy tales together. And she was absolutely an angel. However, this thing started to drain my energy after a while, so I asked my niece to play on her own. However, she demanded my constant attention and refused to play by herself, and she started to throw a tantrum. So, as a last resort, I had to calm her down by letting her watching cartoons on my phone, so I can have some time to recharge my battery and took a small nap. However, after about 30 minutes, I would have to persuade her to play with me again because I guess that staring at a phone for a while is not good for a child's eye. Truth to be told, although I love spending time with kids, I still struggle sometimes to take care of them and to find ways to keep them engaged with me. So I guess that in the future, I will have to read more books about parenting skills so that I can have better ways to play with a kid. That's it.
I have mentioned a few times here that I used to be a teaching assistant for children aged 3 to 10, so my story will revolve around such a kid. So back then, I was a TA for a class in the primary 1 level, so the children there were only like 6 or 7 years old. And there was this one kid who is actually very bright academically, but did not put all of his prowess into the appropriate task and instead always caused stirs within every single lesson. So on this one day, when everyone were lining up in order to play a word scrambling game, they were standing in 2 lines, and this boy, he was showing signs of jumping the line and being disrespectful to his teammates in order to, be just mischievous and be victorious out of the game. And I had observed him for a while throughout the lesson, and up to that point, I decided that everything should stop. So I brought him outside of the class and tried to, kind of talk to him in a very intimidating and serious tone of voice in order for him to realize that this kind of behavior was unacceptable within the class and he should stop. So I was furious enough for him to burst out crying, and once we returned to the class, he did not speak anything until the class ended, and when it ended, he stayed by my side until his father came and he told me to bring him out to his parent. And so that was this experience when I spent time with a kid that I proved myself to be like a kind of effective controller, though a little violent and too violent and still very controlling. But yeah, I did something good for the whole team, for the whole collective in the end, and it stuck in my memory ever since.
Part 3. At what age do you think children can be trusted to make their own decisions?
So I don't think there is any specific age for this certain matter, and it also depends on how big and serious the decisions are. And therefore, I think that children can make their own choices at any age, as long as those decisions are made under the control settings with proper parental guidance, or when they demonstrate maturity. For example, like even at the age of 5, they can make their own choice of clothing or how to do their daily routine. And I do believe that if parents grant more freedom for their children, chances are they will grow up into independent and responsible adults.
Do you think that parents today face different challenges than parents did in the past? Why or why not?
I think for the most part, for the majority of parents, they do have the same set of problems and issues to deal with, regardless of which era or time they are in. But however, in this day and age, modern parents are more burdened on the side of finance than ever. This stems from a few factors. First of all, children nowadays have to be more well educated and have to undertake a more wider variety of subjects and courses in order for them to become independent, capable adults when they grow up. And moreover, the cost of living, especially in the cities, have always been rising year after year, and nowadays it is very hard and difficult for an average family in order to have their own house without having to rely on borrow money or subsidies from the government in order to have their own home. So I think, yeah, but on a more positive side, I think the number of children in today's families have reduced substantially compared to like with just 1, 2, or 3, as opposed to like more than 5 in the past, and that also relieve the problem of finance and work that parents have to do in order to make ends meet.
Part 3. What do you think are some of the most important things that parents can do to help their children grow up to be responsible and successful adults?
Well, I guess that parents can provide an environment of democracy in which children are allowed to raise their voices and their own opinions so that they can feel respected and responsible for their own choices. And along with that, parents should also provide proper guidance without being like helicopter parents. Like they always impose restrictions on their kids. They they mustn't do this, they mustn't do that. And I guess that parents will have to balance between, releasing the children to do their own thing, and also try to give them guidance when they need it.
Part 3. In your opinion, what are some of the most effective discipline techniques for children?
From my own observations, I think there are 2 techniques that prove to be successful when it comes to dealing with children regardless of the age group. And first of all, it is communication. And yeah, obviously it still applies to every people of every single age group, not just young children. So what does it mean? Parents need to at least listen to their children's stories and thoughts in order to promptly acknowledge and realize the wants or needs of their offsprings in order to follow up with subsequent steps or reactions for them to, for the understanding to be accurate, to be understandable, and to be sympathetic. Yeah, and secondly is, I think it's more applied to very small ones, and that is reward system. So yeah, with every single thing that children are expected to do, they also have some anticipation that they will receive something in return. For example, like if they are required to do some chores they can be returned with some treats, some sweets, or some good food from their parents in exchange for their hard work and their responsibilities. And once they grow up, the level of reward can also change in order to adapt with the extent and the intensity of the task that they are going through, and to show deeper and more serious attention of parents to how children earn knowledge, earn experiences, and grow up to be a responsible adult and will do all the same things to their own children. Yeah.